What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Cougar Culture Podcast. By now, you guys know my voice. I am Dorian Alert. Let's see what are my different roles. I go by the one of the voices, one of the many voices that you guys have heard throughout these last 2 semesters, alongside my great partner Jish Sokolsky. What's going on, man?
How's it going? I really feel like you got to add graduate to your resume soon, man. Congratulations. You're about to graduate on Thursday in a few days. So proud of you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jish. I appreciate you. But, you know, it doesn't stop there because you'll be graduating from high school, too. Unfortunately,
yeah, man.
You will be leaving us.
Yeah, I can't say college graduate yet, though. That's you.
Oh, man. You know, it's been a really fun year. I wouldn't have wanted to do this with anyone else. But, you know, we had a great time calling all of the sports, whether it was volleyball in the fall, basketball in the winter, or you doing baseball, softball, men's, women's lacrosse. I know I'm leaving out a lot of sports, but we did everything this semester, these last 2 semesters.
Yeah, you know, it really was a learning experience. You know, I didn't come in knowing all these sports or necessarily like taking time out to watch or appreciate these sports, but really for sure watching all the athletes compete their hardest all year long and being in the booth has really given me such an appreciation for sports, more than I already had. Like who would have thought I would have been super invested in lacrosse, man. That's one gem out of many that I can think of that I really developed a passion for and love for here at Kean.
Absolutely. We had the opportunity to be on a couple of championship games.
Mm-hmm.
You had the opportunity to be on the NCAA tournament. How did it feel to be on the tournament?
Oh man, you know, how many high schoolers can say, "Oh yeah, I've called NCAA regional softball," right? Like that's a huge stepping stone for me, and I'm so grateful to Kean for allowing me to have that opportunity. Yeah, there's not a lot I can say about it. I feel like that's all there is to it. I'm just super grateful and thankful.
Before we continue with this episode, you know, you guys can find us on the Kean Athletics Instagram. Just type in Kean Athletics, or on Twitter at Kean Athletics, or once again, go on YouTube, type in Kean Athletics, and you'll be able to find us there. You can listen to all of our episodes as well on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just type in Cougar Culture Podcast, and you'll be able to hear our wonderful voices, as once again we said you were able to hear throughout these entire 2 semesters, throughout this entire year. So with that being said, Jish, it's time to go one last time to After the Whistle. Unfortunately, the women's lacrosse team did end their season. They lost to TCNJ in the first round of the NJAC tournament. That final score ended up being 18-3. Pretty rough way to end the season, but there were a couple of upsides. Katie Pileggi was midfielder of the year, and she did win all NJAC first, or she was placed on the all NJAC first team alongside Emily Brettschneider, and Amanda Earhart was put on the all NJAC honorable mention. Congratulations to all 3 of them, and 2 of them are seniors, so they'll be moving on. So congratulations on graduating and moving on.
You know, I just want to say it's no shame at all to lose to a nationally ranked program like TCNJ. And the fact that earlier in the season that they kept it really close with them is such a testament to their fight. They've got a lot of young talent as well. They're going to come back next year hungrier than ever and could shock a lot of people. I would not be surprised.
Hey, I believe it. Once again, this was Coach Johnson's 5th season with the team, and they've gotten better every single year, so I expect nothing less from them. Men's lacrosse also, unfortunately, lost in the first round of the CSAC tournament. They lost to Montclair State University 12-11. That was a super close game. Connor Batcher had 5 goals. Anthony Porter had 2. And, you know, it just came down to Montclair having it at the end.
Quite unfortunate there. A 12-11 contest. Connor Batcher scored in that final 3 minutes. There was some hope to maybe tie it up. They just couldn't get it done. Just unfortunate. But again, another team with a lot of young talent. You got to really commend Christian Balcom, a name I'd like to throw out there. Came in relief of Nick Maffa about halfway through the season to take over face-off duties, and he was on fire all season long. Just a name I'd like to put out there in the universe.
Absolutely. And, we talked to Coach Shiner, too. He said they've got a lot of young talent. They did have a lot of seniors on this roster, but they also have a lot of young talent coming up. So, moving forward in the 2023 season, they'll be able to definitely show up and show out.
Now let's move on to baseball and softball, both sports which ended recently. We're going to start off with baseball. We're awarded with the 4th seed in the NJAC tournament for their efforts in the regular season. They opened the playoffs on the road in William Patterson. They lost that game 5-4. You need to lose 2 to be eliminated, so they came back to Kean, which was the host site of the NJAC tournament, playing survival ball throughout. They won that second game against Ramapo in a 5-4 walk-off affair. Christian Pallone hit a sac fly in the bottom of the 9th to seal the W for Kean. We're going to show you that right now.
1-1 the count. Here it comes. Pallone pops this one up into right field. Right fielder giving chase. He catches it. Here comes Morano from third, and he'll come home, and Kean wins. On the sacrifice fly from Christian Pallone, Kean stays alive in this NJAC tournament, this time on the other end of a walk-off in the bottom of the 9th. Christian Pallone brings it home for Kean, and they get a W in front of their home crowd.
Yeah, Jish, that was an incredible call, 1, and 2, I was standing right in front of you as you made that call, and everyone was super excited. We had Dr. Repillette standing there. The athletic director, Kelly Williams, was standing there, and the entire student section, even though just about everyone was getting ready to leave for summer vacation, the student section was packed, and they were having a great time, and it was a great way to cap off that day.
You're absolutely right, Dorian. And that student section came out in full force the very next day against TCNJ, a game where they came from behind and won 10-7. That was another great game. That one also went down to the 9th inning before they could call it quits. Kean then moved on to the championship round against all odds as the 4 seed, playing off against William Patterson again, who they faced in the opening round. Unfortunately, they lost that game 10-4, coming up just shy of that NJAC championship, but still a phenomenal season for the Cougars on the baseball team. We have some end of season awards for them as well that we'd like to mention. Huge shout out to Justin Diefenbach, who was named a co-pitcher of the year in the NJAC, and the rookie of the year, Kyle Adorno, both winning all NJAC honors. They're alongside other honorees, Josh Jackson, who made the All-NJAC second team, and Phil Malik, who also made the All-NJAC second team. There were some honorable mentions as well. Colin Kiernan and Dylan Tolliver, the pitcher 2 and 3, were All-NJAC honorable mentions, along with electric freshman Brett Hilsheimer in that shortstop position, also an honorable mention. Congratulations to all those players. We can't wait to catch up with you soon enough.
I'll let you finish up with softball really quick, but we will be reviewing all of these seasons with the teams in the coming weeks. So, you don't want to miss out.
As for softball in their NJAC tournament, they also came up just shy, coming in 3rd place in that tournament after a win over Stockton and a loss to TCNJ. That was not enough to deter them from making the NCAA regional tournament, though, which actually was held on the site of Kean. Believe it or not, they were in a bracket with Alfred University, Eastern Connecticut State University, who's the number 3 team in the country, and Waynesburg University. I was on the call for all those games as well. And Kean also performed phenomenally, probably above expectations, winning the opening game against Alfred, a 3-1 contest where Melody Cases made this ridiculous grab that we're going to show you right now.
3-2 count. Clevenger looking for her first strikeout. Alfred looking to get on base for the first time. Contact is made. That one's traveling to the gap in center field. Laying out and making the grab is the center fielder for Kean. That's number 6, Melody Cases, making the play.
Yeah, just that clip was making rounds on Twitter, on Instagram. I saw it on a few Instagram stories shared throughout.
Yeah, for sure. That was just one of a few electric plays. In the second game that Kean played was against Eastern Connecticut State in the winner's bracket on day 2. A 3-2 victory for Kean propelled them to the championship round. They won thanks to an Eliza Files 3 RBI double and a game-winning double play initiated by Gabby Fredette. That was also an electric play. Unfortunately, the clip wasn't really posted to Twitter. Do we have that on hand?
Of course, we definitely do.
All right, then let's roll it.
As she's now on base with Brooke Matisowski up to bat. This is the real challenge for Clevenger. Already gave up a 2-run homer to her in the top of the first. You got to wonder if they're even going to give her something to swing at.
Yeah, this is real dangerous. She's walked her every time since that first at-bat.
She makes contact with that liner to Fredette, and the throw to first is on time! Cougars win on a game-winning double play initiated by Gabby Fredette.
Once again, Gabby Fredette on defense. The same play like she had earlier. Line drive right to her, and she throws it over to first. That runner too far on that secondary lead. Can't get back in time on the line out, and the Cougars win it 3-2 on only 2 hits.
The crowd is going crazy here at Cougar Field. The Cougars have just advanced to the NCAA Regional Finals.
Then in the championship round, this was another you have to lose too. So unfortunately, our win over Eastern Connecticut State did not eliminate them from the competition. And in the finals, they did sweep us, winning the first game by a score of 5-0 or 5-1, excuse me. And then winning that second game by a score of 8-0, mercied us in 6 innings. But regardless, still a phenomenal season for the Cougars, also winning a lot of all-conference honors. Gabby Fredette, as we predicted here on the Cougar Culture Podcast, was the NJAC Player of the Year. Eliza Files, of course, like there was ever any doubt, was the Rookie of the Year in the NJAC. A bunch of other honors. Heather Clevenger was an all-first-teamer. Files made the first team. Fredette made the first team. The second team was also headlined by a few Cougars. Paige Metz was a second-teamer. Carly Messina in the utility slot was a second-teamer. And, of course, Annabella Marino was an at-large bid to make the second team All-NJAC. Congratulations to them. But we're not even done there. 5 Cougars made the MFCA All-Region squad. Heather Clevenger, Gabby Fredette, Eliza Files, Paige Metz, and Jen Mayorchuk all were honored as All-NFCA All-Region members. So congratulations to them for their efforts in the regional bracket. Hats off to this softball squad who's going to come back next year, and they're going to win it all. That's my prediction.
I love the energy. I love it. You know, like you said, just they had a really great season. Thought their season was over after they lost to TCNJ, but they did come back. And you know, there were a couple of rain delays and cancellations that caused the NJAC tournament to unfortunately run short and have to adjust. And so, you know, they ended up coming back, being that at-large bid in the NCAA tournament and perform their hearts out. Unfortunately, that is our final after the whistle of the spring 2022 semester. But don't worry, like I said a little bit earlier, we'll be reviewing the seasons with all of the teams: men's lacrosse, women's lacrosse, baseball, softball, and maybe we'll even have a little bit of tennis, some esports. We'll definitely keep all of you updated in the coming weeks. No Cougar quick hits this week. We'll definitely double up on that next week. So now it is time to go beyond the competition with Kean women's tennis player Angelica Nino. Now, before we get into this interview, Angelica is one of the co-hosts of her own podcast called Two Random Girls. I'll play a very short clip from that episode, from one of their episodes, and then we'll get right into the interview. So here is Angelica Nino talking about her podcast, Two Random Girls.
How do we do this?
Me too. It's been such a long time.
Right. Pardon us.
No, for real.
Pardon our appearance.
But how do we start this?
Hi, I'm Chelsea.
I'm Angelica.
And together we're
Two Random Girls.
Joining us now is a very special guest. She is a member of the women's tennis team, as well as a member of Chi Alpha Sigma, when she's not on the tennis court or in the classroom. She is the co-host of the Two Random Girls podcast. I'm pleased to introduce Angelica Nino. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on here. It's a pleasure.
Of course. So I do want to start off a little bit with you and, tennis, which is a sport. It's very much a niche sport. How did you get into playing tennis and ultimately coming to Kean and playing tennis as your sport?
So I started playing tennis my junior year of high school, but backtracking, my mom always liked tennis. She never really played like anything professional or like even in her school, but she always found it interesting. So she would take me and my dad out and we would like play a little, but it was not ever like something that I was like, oh, I'm actually gonna get into it. But my freshman year of high school, I went to a different high school. So I did soccer over there. But when I moved back to the high school that I graduated from in Roselle, they didn't have a women's soccer team, but I still wanted to stay active in some sort of way. So I was like looking at other sports I could do. And my mom would just like, oh, check if they have a tennis team and do it. So I was like, okay. So I joined the tennis team and I never really was good at any sport, like good until tennis. Like the first time I joined, it was like my first time actually playing. So my coach was actually like, oh, like you're really good. And that I guess like impacted me and made me want to try even more. So junior year, it was my first time ever playing like tennis at the school and it went well, like, but I didn't really start until my senior year. And then I actually started for singles and I got the spot because like during the whole summer, I was just like practicing like crazy. So that's how I started.
So since you started a little bit later than a lot of other kids probably would, what was the recruiting process kind of like when you were coming to Kean?
So for the recruiting process, it was actually pretty late for me because I was actually gonna go to college to St. Elizabeth, and I got recruited by their coach, so I was just like more focused on that. But then at the like the late deadline, I decided to go for Kean, and then I didn't really look at into the tennis team until like August, and that was like super late, but like I basically like emailed the coach every day and I was like, please, like I want to be on the team, like da da da. And then after like a lot of insisting and probably like bugging her so much, she finally was like, yeah, like we could meet and then like you could be on the team. So I was able to be on the team my freshman year of college.
You were on the team your freshman year of college and this year, which happens to be your junior/senior year, kind of.
Yes.
What has your experience been like? Because in 2019 you didn't see too much, if any, action at all, but this year you definitely got a lot more playing time.
Yeah. So unfortunately, because of COVID, I didn't really have that much experience like in tennis because my freshman year, it was only like the fall season that I played, and then the spring was when COVID happened, and then the 2 years after that. But sometimes I'm like, oh, I regret not playing during COVID, but I just didn't want to get tested every week. Like I felt like that was just too much to do. But definitely, I'm glad I had this year to play and to be back with the whole team. It was just like better and we got to do away games. So I feel like the experience is like, I feel like COVID really made everyone grateful for everything. Like I never thought that I was going to be like 2 years without playing tennis because of a pandemic. Like that was never going to cross my mind. And like now being back, it was just like being grateful of little things like practices, away games and things like that.
So before we talk about the podcast, I did mention this is your junior/senior year. You are graduating early. What was your time management like in order to get to that point? On top of that, like what are you planning, or you don't have to go into full detail, but what is kind of your trajectory?
Okay, so for time management, I'm really I don't want to say I'm really into planning, but I do have my little planner on me and I always have to like write down everything. that I'm gonna do, because I do tend to forget things. Like sometimes I plan something and I'm like, oh, if it's not written down, like I completely forget it. So I feel like just having everything organized, and like as soon as you like have a homework that's due or something, just write it down to know. And yeah, I feel like just knowing when things are gonna happen, and just not trying not to procrastinate. But like I'm a hypocrite because I'm literally right now procrastinating an essay that's due. But it gets really hard at times, but it's just like you try to focus and actually get things done. One of the things that I actually do that helps me is I put like this study music on my phone, and I feel like it does help me concentrate more on things. And I turn like social medias off and everything because they get really distracting. And literally I could be on TikTok for 2 hours instead of doing my essay. So yeah, just like trying to not procrastinate and like being good at planning things. So right now I'm just trying to get internships. That's like my main goal, and just get more experience, because in the I'm trying to lean more into the media industry of like communications. And it's really hard to get your like foot in the door without experience, or even trying to get experience. Like they're like, oh, for internships you need experience. I'm like, how am I gonna get experience, you know? So it's just like I've been applying to a bunch of internships, and yeah, I'm just trying to get experience at the moment. And hopefully once I do that, apply to like my dream job and stuff like that.
So now for the fun part, we are going to talk about your podcast called Two Random Girls. This podcast was started by you and your friend about 10 months ago. You know, what was the idea? Who initiated it? And how did both of you end up coming up with this podcast that you've been producing a lot more recently?
Yeah, so that's a good question, because I don't remember which one of us initiated it. I feel I'm leaning to say it was me, but I feel like it was definitely both of us. Like we both, I definitely use social media, I think, more than her. Like I post on TikTok all the time, or like my Instagram, but I feel like she always wanted to do a podcast, or like we always wanted to do a YouTube channel. That's what, like we always wanted to do a YouTube channel, but we didn't really have like fun things to post, like vlogs type of wise. Like it would only be us just sitting and talking. And then that's when like podcasts started becoming more famous, and we were like, that's literally what we like to do, just talk and sit down. So that's how the idea, I guess, came about. And we always wanted to do it with our another friend, because it's like three of us, but our other friend is usually busy and things like that. So we decided to just start the two of us. And then when my other friend probably graduates, since it's two random girls, we could just change it to three random girls. And then the logo stays the same. And then I forgot the second part of the question again. Sorry.
No problem. No, it's really just what kind of sparked the idea of, and you kind of answered it, but how have you seen the way that it's been growing?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so definitely it has been growing during, like I feel like now we've been on a little forgot the word, but like on a little strike. No, not strike. Like things when it flows. Okay, I forgot the word for it, but like
No.
when we've been on a little flowing like thingy. And in the beginning, when we first started our podcast, we posted like one video, and then we didn't post it again for like, I think 2 months maybe. But the funny thing about that is that we kept recording. Like we recorded every week, but we just couldn't get to editing it, because like we would record on her phone and then to send it to me, because I'm the one that edits the videos and stuff. Like to send it to me, it was like it got hard. And we were like, we just keep recording things for ourselves, because we weren't posting anything, until we finally got like a system down. So now we, like lately we've been recording really good and posting it. And just now, because we're she's also about to graduate, so it's been a little hard because she's the one that like advertises it and like posts on Instagram and things like that. So she's been a little busy with that. But we've definitely grown in the way that now we're actually posting more consistently. And we're also like posting on different social medias like TikToks and stuff. And I feel like that engages more with the audience.
So when it comes to coming up with topics and everything, I know we had spoke before about how, like, what is your process to go through it? Because the title is as is what it is, two random girls. So that doesn't, for a person like me who's just coming in and okay, I'm like, okay, two random girls, what's this podcast going to be about? And then I look through the list of episodes. You have about 12 episodes out currently. And I look through the list and I'm like, okay, they talk about a lot of things, a lot of different things. What is your process to come up with different episodes, different subjects that both of you are going to be talking about?
Okay, so to come up with different topics, like what you said, the name is really like generic to a point, right? It's just like literally two random girls. And what I like about it a lot is that we literally be talking about random things, like anything that we think about in a week. Sometimes it does get hard. We're like, oh damn, like what are we going to talk about this week? But we usually always like see something on Twitter that's like being viral, like what's it called, when a debate, like, oh, should girls pay for like the first date, things like that. Like there's always something new on Twitter, like TikTok, that we see before the day that we record, and we usually send it to each other and we're like, oh, should we talk about this? And yeah, that's how basically we come up with topics. We also talk about like sometimes news or like things that are going on. Like we talked about Will Smith and the Chris Rock incident. We talked about Ukraine and stuff. It's just like literally anything that we feel is trending at the moment or that we think is interesting.
What I really like about it is it kind of brings in the podcasts that I listen to are somewhat like this too, is that it gives like a group chat kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Like there's always something happening. There's someone talking and then everyone has their own opinion. And so that's what I really like about what both of you are able to do.
Thank you. Yeah.
Of course.
I like that group chat type of vibe.
So when we talk about the 12 different episodes, you have episodes, the most recent one is Random Thoughts, number 11. You talk about aging, crazy experiences. You talk about pop culture. You had a guest on. So how do you go about just organizing? Because the other aspect of this is originally you were recording, I'm assuming on a phone, right?
Yeah.
And now you're recording on a phone, but you're also using resources around you and using the Kean studio, which by the way, I really like using the studio because the audio sounds a lot better. But it really takes into account, like it gives, what am I trying to say? It's more of, okay, this is what we're doing, this is what we want to do, versus the like the car setting is nice, but you know, like for me, I have a door in my background. Like it's not a great background by any means, but you guys have taken essentially charge of creating content that a lot of people are actually going to want to listen to because it's two girls giving their opinion, and I really like the content.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
So you mentioned it. You mentioned a little bit about the social media aspect, but you're super active on Instagram. You're always promoting it. Super active on TikTok. Is the Twitter isn't completely up and running yet, but I'm sure that will be too. Who takes charge of working the different social media accounts, and you know what is kind of the goal moving forward for the podcast?
So for the different social media apps, it's mainly more of my friend Chelsea. She tries to like cut out like parts of the videos that we think are funny or maybe interesting and will get people's engagement. I let her know like like if there's while I'm editing, if there's a minute or that I really like, or like something that we're actually like really cracking up about, like I send it to her and then she'll know like when to post. And before posting, she usually sends things to me, or before I post something, I send it to her to see if it's okay. But I let her mainly do that since I do the editing of it. So that like balances it out. But sometimes like when she's busy, like right now I know she's like doing finals. So I'm trying to like post for her and things like that. But yeah, I give that side more to her. And the Twitter, yeah, we like talk about always trying to post on there, but we never know what to post. But yeah, that's basically her.
So, what is the goal moving forward with your podcast?
All right, sorry. The goal, we just want to get more like viewers and just more subscribers, just to like make more people hear us outside of like the people that follow us or like our friends groups and stuff. But we would definitely like the main goal would just to be like be able to get money off of it and like yeah, just grow up like as a brand.
Before we go, you want to plug in the name of the podcast, the YouTube, and all the social media so people can find you?
Yes. So you guys can find us on YouTube if you just search Two Random Girls Up. And on Instagram, it is also Two Random Girls. It just has two dot period random and then period girls. And on TikTok, it's the same thing. And then my Instagram is A as in AYEEE dot Angelica.
All right, Jish. And that was Angelica Nino talking about her podcast.
And now it's time to preview the week ahead.
Oh man, no, like we said, we had a great time calling everyone's sports this semester, whether you were on a field on a court, or you were playing a video game. We had fun talking to you, and this has been actually no. Do you want to say anything, Josh?
Hey, I mean, it was a hell of a year for the Cougars. Shout out to the men's soccer team for winning it all. There's going to be many, many more Kean Cougar squads winning their NJAC titles next year, making the NCAA tournaments. I'm sure of it. And I'm going to be rooting from afar, but still, nevertheless, rooting for Kean. You guys will always be my D3 school. And yeah, man, this was super fun.
Absolutely. You're not leaving us yet, Jish. We'll have you for a little bit longer. But yeah, this was a great episode. I had a lot of fun. Jish had a lot of fun. I'm sure John and Kevin had a lot of fun. We need to get them back on very soon to wrap up the season. And yeah, like we said before, to keep up with us, you guys can follow the Kean Athletics Instagram and Twitter at Kean Athletics, or on YouTube, Kean Athletics. Or you can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Just type in Cougar Culture Podcast. And also, we're going to help plug them in a little bit. And Angelica spoke on this a little bit, but you can find her podcast just going on YouTube and type in Two Random Girls, and you'll be able to find her podcast along with her co-host on YouTube. So this has been the Cougar Culture Podcast. I'm Dorian. That's Jish. And we will see you all next time.